Peter and Whit, K1LEM, KD8IUU.
You're not paying attention, Stanley. I basically said that you stand down and Whit stand down and let somebody else who's out there give them a chance to come in. It doesn't mean Stanley you have it. Stand by, Stanley.
Oh, okay. Please, anybody that wants to come in with a call sign, do so.
We'll stand down for you to come in and have your say. This is KC2QYM.
Yeah, Stanley, did you want to have your say?
Now stand by, Whit. I want these guys who are in the peanut gallery to come in if they want. Stand by, everybody.
Oh, they're cowards.
The stations who want to make a comment, put your call sign out. We're only open to your comments. Go ahead. Even your criticisms.
Cowards. All they do is they're just like a little boy who stands behind a tree, opens his fly, and pees on a woman when she goes by. And when she starts to scream about what he just did to her dress, he runs in the other direction. That is the kind of people we got on this frequency.
All right, but Whit, you're not giving these guys a chance because you keep cutting in. So I'm trying to get you guys to stop talking for a second so somebody else has a chance to get in. A little breathing room here. Hold on. All right, third time. You guys want to come in, put your call sign out. If not, hold your comments. This is KC2QYM. All right, with nothing heard. Now you can have it, Stanley. Go ahead. This is KC2QYM.
Go ahead, and do keep the record, the long-playing record going.
Yeah, I do want to pick. Very good. I want to begin by picking on Whit here. I know this, Whit. You won't go running off. Okay, very good. You can take it here. Let's see. Yes, you just made this assertion that the peanut gallery and the guys won't give their call signs. Well, once in a great while, we do actually have people that come in and make very meaningful contributions. We had one, for case in point, an example that makes your statement sort of not exactly accurate. That just the peanut gallery of guys who run off. We had this guy KD8IUU, Mike, who made a tremendous contribution yesterday, and it was very welcome and refreshing. But you're absolutely right in this sense, Whit, and that is that it doesn't happen often enough that the critics of what we have to say can't even articulate what they have to say, and maybe our founders were right, the constitutional founders who didn't want ordinary, stupid citizen jerks to have the vote, because we would only abuse ourselves with it. Once we got it, we'd let people put a ring in our nose, miseducate us with mantras like military-industrial complex. The very people who were sponsoring it and won't make legislation or won't make presidential actions against military-industrial complex are educating the people as if they're sensing what the people sense and tell them what they want to hear while they go on and do exactly the opposite, right, and put rings in our nose. No wonder our founders were so wise. These people that gave us this Constitution, the W1, that K1LEM thinks that we ought to soften up and make pretty useless. The same Constitution basically gives K1LEM his right of speech here. I think there's some thinking that needs to connect the dots and say that we might have things not exactly very accurately conceived in our thought processes here. So this guy Mike was very came in and broke things up very nicely and added some different, slightly different perspective. Now here's another thing. I want to go back to you, and this is pick on Whit Day, okay? And you can have a pick on Stanley Day if you like there, Whit. Perfectly okay with me. But Peter and I, this is the point. Peter and I pick on each other all the time. If you heard us in the times that you were not around for years, Peter and I would very politely, along with this guy that you sort of not too favorable of, Joel, KD8IUU, Peter and I have quite different views, okay, very different views, okay, in some very particular matters, even though we're both two different brands of conservative. You might as well say almost two sides of the same coin. Okay, but entirely different agendas on each side of that coin. So but we can get Peter can get under the covers. He can bring back. He doesn't go soft like my friend K1LEM does, and not come back with cogent arguments. So maybe I want to be fair here and say, gee, maybe you need to think about some of the things I said in order to formulate a rebuttal or commentary or what have you with. And you don't have to comment at all. I'm not telling you what you have to do on this frequency. But I want to let you know there's very good precedences of KD8IUU, Joel, and KC2QYM, okay, on this frequency and other frequencies where we've communicated, where those guys, we go at each other in the politest of ways with totally different views, and we go round and round, politely knocking each other's views over with facts we bring up that present either one of two things, either very...
Stanley, what is this factual thing? A fact as according to Stanley, as, the new version of the Bible according to Stan?
Well, now, what a red herring you threw in there. I just presented some facts that are on this recording here, with our QSO here this morning, that could be verified or shown to be absolutely nonsense. For what I showed,
no, that's not true. Stanley, if that were true, you wouldn't have politics.
Eisenhower showed his hypocrisy. Okay, so I made a thesis about Eisenhower again. Slander. I backed it up with facts, where it showed that he had no intention of doing anything about it.
It has nothing to do with facts. If it were anything to do with facts, he was
keeping the people appeased, much like the people who
hey guys, I'm going to get some more coffee. Keep talking. I'll be listening to everything you said.
Put these advertisements on for public consumption.
I'm getting coffee.
How they think fracking would be a very good thing, but they want to make sure that oil doesn't come out of the ground because they're more busy remarketing Arab oil and others' oil around the world. Okay, now there's absolute evidence of that. We have that. The case, if you look to see what Obama did, his wonderful exploit.
What he did or what he didn't
got some backbone together and sent our Air Force jets over Libya. Okay. So anyway, before I go to Libya, I guess I will be turning the microphone around to Peter. But the point I'm making is that, again, to repeat this, Whit is...
Am I not in line for this?
You don't need...
Whit, I'll take it quickly.
Like you and Tom, you just...
I'll take it quickly and give it to you because I'm going to take a break.
Whatever you say, Stan, whatever you say, Peter. No, Peter and I get politely under each other.
It's like talking to yourself, man.
A little bit heated up.
When you talk to yourself, you never can argue because you never can get an answer that's wrong, right?
The other guy might have something there.
He reiterates.
This story to undo it, make up something that's plausible but has no facts, actual facts behind it, make up some phony facts, okay, to throw him off, or bring out some genuine ones. Okay, and
there are no facts,
to throw Peter off in his arguments because he gave me back a real good report
science.
Put my thinking cap on and got me straightened out, and Joel's done the same thing. And Joel has this thing on one particular guy's brand of epistemology, which is a science of knowledge. Okay, and I point out how that's full of nonsense, and Joel brings me back some very good arguments of showing its usefulness. So in the meantime, we're at each other's throats in the friendliest ways. KD8IUU back to KC2QYM.
Yeah, I think it's fine, Stanley.
Okay, I'm going to take it real quick, and then I'm going to give it to Whit, because I'm not going to hold the frequency that long.
No, go ahead, Peter.
Okay. Well, Stanley is right. We basically do criticize each other from time to time. One of my criticisms of Stanley, and Stanley, you don't have to defend or subtract from it, is we both tend to reiterate what we said numerous times throughout the QSO. If you reiterate too many times, Stanley, you start to piss people off because you're making an assumption that people are not listening to what you said the first time. So we always have to be careful. I have to be cautious of this myself. I've been criticized by others as well. That I reiterate the same thing in the same dissertation, you might say.
The Green Mountain Net.
Perhaps I should sum it up at the very end of my discussion and reiterate the points without going into the detail. So the danger of when you put people off or people start to lose interest in what you're saying is you reiterate the same thing a few times and you go into detail each time you reiterate it. So there's another word for you there, Whit. Reiterate. Add that to your list of words that you don't see that often on the ham bands used amongst amateur radio operators. And then I'm going to pass it over to you, Whit, and I'm going to go down and get some coffee and do a bio break. But I will be listening on my little portable 49 megahertz retransmitter and my receiver in hand. So continue your discussions. It's very interesting and collegial. And back to you there, Whit, K1LEM with KD8IUU on the side. This is KC2QYM. Going to be listening, but not be able to come back until I come back.
You're really funny. Yeah, right, Peter. Well, you know what I wish, when I go to bed at night, and if I'm going to continue to use ham radio, that we get some decent conditions. My God, I mean, how much longer are these conditions going to last? Where I know you're running moderate power there, and I'm running moderate power here. It's not exactly as if you and I are DX stations to each other. Oh God, what terrible band conditions we have. Anyway. Just an observation, and yes, I did add reiterate to the exacerbate and reiteration. Yeah, okay. So we got two words here, and the little squirrels out there can add those to their vocabulary, and then they can come on and sound almost as if they're literate, But that's okay. That's okay. We have to have some public service work going on here. Well, Stan, first of all, let me just try to tell you how to speak. You need a bullet sheet, Stan. Now, what a bullet sheet is that you, when you're preparing your speech or whatever it is you're going to say, you have 2 or 3 points you're going to talk on. Usually no more than 3. And the little bullets are from the what do you call it? The word processor. They're just little circles or whatever that are like 1, 2, 3. These are the points that I want to make. Now, don't try to go all over the board. You're going to lose people. You're going to lose people, and especially when you consider that most amateur radio operators are old farts and wear diapers, and 7 o'clock in the morning is almost too early to have Grandpa up. I mean, Grandpa probably could rise up probably about 9 o'clock in the morning and would be groggy, but his mind might be fresher than 7 or 8 or whatever. But that said, that's okay. I mean, not a criticism of you, Stan. Not at all. Now, the problem was that what I found out in talking with Tom over the years was that the incorrect interpretation of what was being said and to internalize or to take personally as a personal attack, either full scale or something less than that, or pushing buttons or something else. Now, this is what I said to Tom years ago, and I think Tom is a person who I think has really learned a lot from talking on the radio. Now, I know that when I retired, I had not talked much on the radio at all because in most of my amateur radio career, I had been a techie. And then before that, I had to go to work during the day, and I don't know about you guys, but when I got home at night, I was tired. I had to drive 35 miles in, 35 put in an 8-hour day, and I was tired when I got home. It was all I could do to, put supper on the table and figure out where I was going to go from there. Now, we know you're all bright-eyed and bushy-tailed because you made money on Wall Street, and all you had to do was, push a few buttons. But with me, I had a real job where I had to work for a living. But now that wasn't meant to be an insult. It was my relative appraisal of what I did. It was hard for me I had a lot of work to do every day, usually. The only time I got any time off at the university was during the summertime when students weren't there. And then I could usually, sit and do something different or go to the library or whatever. And that's what I liked about the work. I mean, it was seasonal, yes, but when the academia was in full steam, I had responsibilities. I had work to do. Let's see here. What else? Well, okay, Dan. Your appraisal about the metaphysics of this or that. Let me get you into something that you are probably not going to be able to fathom. But I just read a book by a physicist by the name of Davies. I think he's from... it's an older book. I think it came out in the early 1990s. And honestly, I think that I had read the book before, but there was so much to it that I took it from my library shelf, and I thought, interesting. The Arrow of Time. I think I'll read this again. And I think he's from the University of Adelaide. And so I was poking through the chapters, and I came across this interesting thing about the metaphysics of time. People say time flows. No, time doesn't flow at all. What would make you think time would flow? I remember years ago I was on the air with somebody here. Maybe it was you, Peter. And we had this guy up in your area, Manhattan, check in. And we were at the time I was so naive. I mean, this is probably 8 or 10 years ago. Where I honestly thought you could have a scientific discussion in amateur radio. How naive could I possibly be? So we were talking about something. I don't know what it was. And the topic came around to time, and somebody came barreling into the discussion without having been preparing themselves for any kind of reasonable discussion, and attacked W1IT because what you're talking about. It's time. I mean, do people like that really need to get up and speak, This discussion going on. I was reading in one of the articles written by Davies, he said, whenever physicists meet, they have symposiums, and you would not believe the number of cranks and crackpots that have already figured out why Einstein's relativity is wrong. The number of crackpots that have already figured out why time, what time's all about, what the universe is all about. And these crackpots are attracted to these symposia that these scholarly professori go to, and so that's why they have the universities that sponsor these things. They don't lock the doors to the lecture hall, but they usually have at least one security person that is sitting close to the door, either on the outside or on the inside, and they look at people as they come in. Now, most of these professori, these lectures are usually free, so if you wanted to go and sit in the back and listen, or sit in the auditorium and listen, you're perfectly free to do that. And I don't know if Dan, I don't know if you've ever been to symposia. I have. I've been there. Usually what happens is you have a bunch of intellectuals there that are writing papers. And they're sort of teasing. They put teasers out.
Ever learning but never coming to knowledge and accuracy. It's the educational environment.
They don't have anything
KD8IUU W09A.
And telling their peers about this. Now, if their peers all pretend to go to sleep,
I suggest you go on the side here, Dan.
Well, they know they have more right
here with the three of us.
But then if their peers
and you and I can take it on the side, and
there's a lot of eye contact.
There's too much heat between you and W1IT.
What? For that. Who's talking? I have the floor.
Station KD8IUU. I'm letting Darren know who came in. Oh, Darren and I do have conversations together, but I suggested to him that we, at this time today, not include him in the loop here today. Okay, maybe at another time or sometime.
Hey, Stan, I'll talk at you another time there, because Gary's on his, I don't know, he's off his medicine or whatever. But anyways, listen, we'll holler at you another time. He's going long-winded there. He's already over his time there. So we just want to jump in there and say we heard you. I talked to you, I don't think very long yesterday. Was unable to because I had to get off to work there early in the morning. So, listen, we'll talk to you on the other one. And it was good talking to you. Glad to hear you're still in there. Whiskey Ocean, 9 Echo.